The topic is human respiratory system. What is respiration? Respiration is the inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. അതായത് ഓക്സിജനെ അകത്തേക്ക് എടുക്കുകയും കാർബൺ ഡയോക്സൈഡിനെ പുറന്തള്ളുകയും ചെയ്യുന്ന മറ്റേ പ്രോസസ്സിനെയാണ് റെസ്പിറേഷന് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ಅಂದರೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನನ್ನು ಒಳಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಿಡುವಂಥ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್, ಉಸಿರಾಟ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Now, which the respiratory organ of human beings is a pair of lungs which is located in the thoracic chamber. Thoracic chamber is a chamber where the heart is located above the diaphragm, above the stomach part. Okay, this chamber, this region is known as the thoracic chamber, and the lungs respiratory system starts with the nostrils. The openings of a nose are known as nostrils. See here, which then goes to the nasal chamber, then reaches pharynx. In the pharynx is the common chamber for respiratory and digestive system. Common chamber for the respiratory and digestive system. And then say from the pharyngeal region it leads to a structure called a trachea. Before it comes a part known as larynx, otherwise known as sound box. Before that, I can say that pharynx has two openings. One goes to the esophagus, that is part of digestive system. Another opening is to respiratory system. Pharynx has two openings. One is the oropharynx, another one is a nasopharynx. Oropharynx goes to the esophagus, nasopharynx goes to the respiratory system, that means trachea, lungs. Then this nasopharynx, otherwise known as glottis. Another name of nasopharynx is glottis. Okay, this is located in the laryngeal region, and this glottis is covered by a flap, okay, which is known as epiglottis. Glottis is the opening and the flap covering that, and muchala, then adappu, okay, covering the glottis is epiglottis. Clear, I think. Okay, so laryngeal region is a part of pharynx. See, we'll discuss about that like this. See, the nasal passage opens into pharynx, a portion of which is the common passage for food and air. The pharynx opens through the larynx region into the trachea. Okay, the opening through the larynx is known as a nasopharynx. Larynx is part of pharynx. Then opening of the larynx into trachea is known as a glottis or nasopharynx, which leads to trachea. And larynx is a cartilaginous box which helps in the sound production, and hence called sound box. And during swallowing, what happens? There is a chance of entering of food into the lungs. So it is prevented by the lid called epiglottis. Okay, entry of food into the lungs or trachea is prevented by the cartilaginous flap called epiglottis. Okay, then comes the trachea. Trachea is a straight tube extending up to the mid-thoracic cavity, middle of the thoracic cavity, which divides into left and right bronchus, singular bronchus, branches of a trachea, leading going to both the right and left lungs. One is a right bronchus, another one is a left bronchus, plural bronchi, and each bronchi then undergoes repeated divisions to form the secondary and tertiary bronchi and ends with the thin terminal bronchioles. So trachea, then primary, secondary and tertiary bronchi, then terminal bronchioles, branches, thin branches of bronchi are known as bronchioles. The primary, secondary and tertiary bronchi and initial bronchioles are supported by incomplete cartilaginous rings, and each terminal bronchiole gives rise to a number of very thin irregular walled and vascularized bag-like structures called alveoli. So at the end of terminal bronchioles we can see bag-like structures called alveoli, alveolus, singular alveolus, plural alveoli. Okay, what is it? Alveoli are the bag-like structures found at the terminal end or at the end of the terminal bronchioles. Okay, now here in the alveoli what happens is the exchange of gases takes place. Exchange of gases takes place in the part known as alveoli. Okay, gas exchange. Exchange of gases means respiratory gases. Respiratory gases are the oxygen and carbon dioxide. So the oxygen inhaled from the atmosphere is taken into the alveolus, and from the alveolus what happens is the carbon dioxide taken from the tissues gets carried to the alveoli, and in the part called alveoli what happens is exchange of gases, carbon dioxide from the blood to the alveolus, and from the alveoli oxygen to the blood. Okay, that we will discuss later on how the exchange of gases take place. Okay, so the end bag-like structures which are the structure functional units of lungs. Functional units of lungs are alveoli. Then next is we have two lungs which are covered by a double-layered pleura. Okay, the membrane which cover and protect lungs is pleura. Pleura, double-layered membranous bag, pleura. And what is function? It reduces friction on the lung surface, protects the lungs. And there are two layers we told, outer pleura and inner pleura, and in between that there is a gap or cavity, that is a pleural cavity, which is filled by a fluid known as a pleural fluid. Okay, then next there are two parts. We can divide the lungs into two parts. One is the conducting part and the exchange part. Conducting part means the part which transports gas or oxygen from the nostrils to the terminal bronchioles. Okay, that is the conducting part. That is nostril, then nasal chamber, then larynx or glottis, then trachea, then primary, secondary, tertiary bronchi, and what next last one, terminal bronchiole. All these are what conducting parts, and alveoli is the what exchanging part. Okay, where the gas exchange takes place. Okay, what is it? Conducting part and exchanging part. Exchange part is the alveoli, and all other parts are conducting parts. Okay, now next, the lungs, where is it situated? It is situated on the thoracic chamber, which is automatically an airtight chamber, which is lungs is situated in a very airtight chamber. Okay, it is tightly packed. The thoracic chamber is formed dorsally by, so what is the thoracic chamber made of? That is, at the dorsal side there is a vertebral column, ventrally by the sternum, that is the middle bone you can see in the chest. Okay, and lateral on the sides there are ribs, varial ribs, okay, and on the lower side by the diaphragm. Okay, so dorsal side, what is it? Vertebral column, ventral side sternum, lateral ribs, and the lower side diaphragm. Okay, this is very much helpful for the functioning of lungs. Okay, lungs with such that any change in the volume of the thoracic cavity will be reflected in the lung or pulmonary cavity. Pulmonary, the word can be related to the lungs. Pulmonary cavity. Such an arrangement is essential for breathing, as we cannot directly alter the pulmonary volume. So this type of packaging is essential for the functioning of our lungs. Okay, so this is how the structure of lungs is like this.